Hi everyone, Jeremy Einbinder here for Democratizing the Media. So yesterday, Bernie Sanders did what was widely expected and endorsed Hillary Clinton. So any hope that he may have been an insurgent to the establishment is now gone. He is supporting the establishment he supposedly ran against by endorsing Hillary Clinton, who by no stretch of the imagination could be considered a leftist candidate. So it's weird to see a supposed socialist endorsing them, regardless of what the reasons for his endorsement are. I get it, he's scared of Trump, he does not want to endorse a spoiler and split the vote of the Democratic Party. But since when is the Democratic Party entitled to the votes of the left? No one is responsible for the votes of anyone else. And when Ralph Nader in 2000 faced some blame for taking votes away from Al Gore and costing him the election, Gore mostly brought out non-voters, so they did not affect the vote total of Gore. And even if they had, you can only blame the people who vote Republican for Republican candidates. And so, as it stands now, Bernie is making a huge mistake by endorsing Hillary Clinton. But there's something to be said about this, and that's that I don't necessarily think that he was that opposed to conceding to her to begin with. Yes, he ran for president against her. I doubt that he expected to win. I do think that he was trying to win. I don't think he intentionally was there to sheepdog his supporters into voting for Hillary Clinton, as some claimed early on in the race. And even now, most of his supporters that I've spoken to who are active are not swayed by his endorsement. They still will not vote for Clinton. So, in actuality, Bernie Sanders has really done nothing to convince anyone any differently than they already feel about Clinton. Those who were for the vote blue no matter who type strategy were going to vote for whoever the Democratic nominee is. They might have preferred one over another, but Sanders' endorsement does not change their strategy. Those who are Bernie or bust and passionately Bernie or bust are not going to vote for Clinton because Bernie told them to. He even acknowledged that he can't tell his supporters what to do, and he stressed that it was his own view, and that we need to do everything we can to defeat Donald Trump and elect Hillary Clinton. But I am pretty sure that supporting Hillary Clinton is not the best use of his candidacy, and I'm certain that supporting Hillary Clinton will not do anything to take down the establishment he so fervently fought against during this campaign. Even though, as a socialist, that I can say he didn't, he at least brought people into the process and gave them some sort of hope and thought that maybe a social democratic candidacy had a chance of succeeding while mistakenly calling it a democratic socialist campaign. There will be people who will be calling it democratic socialism for months, and in a way, we can blame the Bernie Sanders candidacy for that. It was less complicated when people were calling themselves liberals and progressives, when democratic socialism was not in the common nomenclature of American in political discourse. Now that it is, people are mislabeling it as Bernie Sanders' philosophy. It is not Bernie Sanders' philosophy. It is an anti-capitalist philosophy, and almost nowhere in Bernie Sanders' career as a national politician has he even come close to advocating for workers' control over the means of production. He is also not backed a strong anti-imperialist campaign, despite harping on the fact that he voted against the Iraq War and Clinton voted for it. What he leaves out is that he, along with Clinton, voted to fund the Iraq War. So he supported the instance of the war once he thought it was inevitable, but if you really are against a war happening, you would not want to fund it. And he also is for the continuation of the drone program. Anything that Hillary Clinton does that Bernie Sanders does not support is not going to be overwhelming enough for Sanders to formally declare any kind of serious revolt against the Democratic Party. He ran inside the Democratic Party. He is, for all intents and purposes, a Democrat, and his loyalty to support the Democratic Party for president affirms that he doesn't really care all that much about independent politics. Uh, so much that he's more of an anti-Republican candidate. He is critical of some parts of the Democratic Party, for sure, but it is not so overwhelmingly unique from the positions of other Democrats. The people who endorsed him were Democrats. A lot of people who supported Bernie Sanders in his campaign were Democrats or leaned Democratic. Some were not Democrats before, but most of them were not socialists. The vast majority of them were not anti-capitalist revolutionaries. I supported Bernie Sanders in the primaries as a pragmatic vote while still maintaining that a leftist socialist revolution needed to occur from the bottom up, and that you cannot necessarily elect a socialist candidate to institute socialist policies, because that would mean the workers did not have control over the means of production. They need to control the economy. Therefore, they need to be the ones to rise up and institute socialism themselves. The workers, the public, the masses. They're going to be the ones that are responsible for a socialist revolt. Bernie Sanders or any elected president is not going to be responsible for that. So, where do we go from here? Assuming Hillary Clinton is formally nominated at the convention, which in all likelihood she will be, despite her numerous criminal investigations, I would suggest one of two options. Either you vote for Jill Stein of the Green Party if you are a leftist, or you vote, if you're able to, if he's on the ballot, for Mimi Soltysik of the Socialist Party USA. Now, in a lot of cases, the Green Party has been a capitalist reformist party. They are explicitly social democratic, more so than the Democratic Party is strictly liberal. But on the other hand, the Green Party is considering voting for a platform plank which would make them explicitly eco-socialist and fight against both capitalism and state socialism, so-called socialism that starts from the top down. That kind of socialism, in a lot of people's eyes, is authoritarian and therefore negates the principles of socialism as it is. So that's one option. Soltysik is probably the candidate which most aligns with my views and most aligns with the views of someone who is explicitly anti-capitalist and for socialist revolutionary politics, for workers' ownership of the means of production, for explicit anti-imperialist policies, cutting the military drastically, and disarming the United States of nuclear weapons, for so many things that would fight against capitalist establishment politics. And most importantly, in my eyes, because this affects the culture most, the democratization of media in the United States and the fight for participatory democracy in all aspects of society. The Green Party has some of that. They are not as explicitly anti-capitalist as the Socialist Party. They are more focused on environmental causes than the Socialist Party is directly, but the Socialist Party rightly points out that capitalism is to blame for large societal ills all throughout the cultures of the world. So, while I may or may not vote socialist, they certainly align most with my views. But even so, Mimi has told me explicitly that he would not want a job and that he does not agree with the concept of the presidency as it is. Because he believes that any president would be complicit in war crimes from the second they assume office. So, I will endorse the Mimi Soltysik and Angela Nicole Walker campaign for President of the United States of America and continuing a grassroots fight at the bottom-up level for a socialist uprising. On the other hand, it is worth considering that my vote may go to either Jill Stein or Soltysik. The thing about the Green Party is, any way to break up the two-party system is likely a good thing, and the Green Party has a shot at 5% of the popular vote this year. So, if they get 5% of the vote, they get major party status. And anything that breaks the two-party system, especially if it leans to the left, is good for leftist politics. So, Bernie Sanders is fine with endorsing the Democratic establishment candidate, even though he supposedly has fought against her for months. That's the way American politics works. I am not fine with endorsing the Democratic establishment candidate. So, I will say, Revolution 2016, however we get there. And in order to help us spread the word, we need to be sure that we fight to democratize the media and fight for media where the creators are in control. Revolution 2016, Soltysik Walker, Joe Stein. The Socialist Party USA has a lot to offer or at the grassroots level. Check it out. The Green Party has a lot to offer in terms of electoral politics. Check it out. The Democratic Party will continue to perpetuate establishment politics and try to rope leftists in as though they are entitled to our votes. They're not. They deserve to be fought against, and the two-party system deserves to die, and corporate control of society, including the media, deserve to die. The media may be a good place to start the destruction. For Democratize the Media, I'm Jeremy Einbinder. Thanks for watching.